You are not lazy, you suffer from ADHD. Have you ever felt like you are constantly chasing focus and control in a fast-paced world? Or searching for motivation and energy to accomplish your daily tasks? Do you sometimes find yourself entangled in endless activities or constantly procrastinating on tasks? If this feeling is familiar to you, you might belong to the group of individuals facing issues such as poor concentration, hyperactivity, and difficulties in executive function control. In this article, we'll delve into one of the most prevalent and crucial mental disorders known as ADHD, or Attention Deficit Hyperactivity Disorder. We'll explore its differences from laziness, solutions, and treatment, emphasizing the significance of this issue. Entering the world of ADHD, we will address the real nature of this disorder and how to manage it, providing important insights for individuals who might encounter this issue. The continuation of the article will help you discover the best way to understand and manage ADHD. Laziness and ADHD are two different concepts and have significant differences. Point 1. Nature. 1. Laziness. Laziness refers to a state in which individuals intentionally delay or avoid performing tasks. Lazy individuals deliberately avoid performing tasks, and this can be attributed to various factors such as lack of motivation, disinterest, fatigue, or other psychological and social factors. Laziness is not typically classified as a mental disorder and usually arises due to temporary factors during specific periods. 2. ADHD, or Attention Deficit Hyperactivity Disorder. ADHD is a mental disorder that usually begins in childhood and can continue into adulthood. This disorder includes problems related to concentration, hyperactivity, and difficulties in controlling executive functions. People with ADHD are not intentionally lazy. Instead, they have specific neurological problems that lead to issues with concentration and task completion. This disorder requires a specific diagnosis and treatment and often necessitates counseling from psychiatrists and ADHD specialists. In general, laziness results from motivational and behavioral issues and can be easily addressed with changes in behavior and the environment. In contrast, ADHD is a mental disorder characterized by neurological and cognitive problems, requiring a specialized treatment. Point 2. Symptoms. 1. Laziness. Reluctance to perform tasks. Lazy individuals may procrastinate or avoid tasks for an extended period. Lack of motivation. Lazy individuals may lack sufficient motivation to complete tasks and may appear disinterested. Non-commitment to responsibilities. Lazy individuals may temporarily neglect or evade tasks and responsibilities. 2. ADHD, or Attention Deficit Hyperactivity Disorder. In attention, individuals with ADHD experience difficulties in concentration and attention to details. They usually cannot maintain their focus on tasks for extended periods. Hyperactivity. Individuals with ADHD may seem hyperactive and engage in excessive activities. Restlessness. Continuous restlessness and a feeling of being unable to sit still is a common symptom of ADHD. Difficulty in controlling executive functions. People with ADHD have difficulty managing their executive functions, including setting priorities and controlling their behavior. The main difference between these two concepts lies in the symptoms and characteristics observed in each of them. Laziness is associated with a lack of motivation and willingness to complete tasks, while ADHD is a mental disorder characterized by poor concentration, hyperactivity, and difficulty controlling executive functions. Point 3. Intervention and treatment. 1. Laziness. Laziness is usually related to temporary behavioral and motivational problems and can be addressed with lifestyle changes, upbringing, and counseling. Treating laziness may require changing behaviors, fostering motivation, and creating effective structures for task completion. 2. ADHD, or Attention Deficit Hyperactivity Disorder. ADHD is a mental disorder and requires a specific intervention and treatment. ADHD treatment includes psychological counseling, behavioral management, and in some cases, the use of medications prescribed by physicians. Individuals with ADHD may benefit from psychological interventions and medications to address concentration and executive function control problems. In summary, laziness can be short-term and related to a specific environmental and life circumstances and is usually treated as a behavioral issue. In contrast, ADHD is a mental disorder that begins in childhood, persists over time, and under various conditions and requires ongoing management and treatment. It cannot be easily addressed through temporary behavioral changes. If you suspect that you or your child may have ADHD, it's best to consult a specialist, such as a psychiatrist or an ADHD expert. Point 4. Time and continuity. 1. Laziness. Laziness may be temporarily and mostly attributed to various factors such as changes in environmental conditions, temporary lack of motivation, or several psychological factors. Laziness does not persist as a long-term or chronic condition and can typically be addressed with changes in behavior and motivation. 2. ADHD or Attention Deficit Hyperactivity Disorder. ADHD usually begins in childhood and can persist into adulthood. This disorder is a chronic condition that remains over time and in different circumstances, requiring continuous management and treatment. In conclusion, laziness is often temporarily unrelated to a specific environmental and life conditions, and it's usually treatable as a behavioral issue. On the other hand, ADHD is a long-term mental disorder that affects individuals during their childhood and beyond, requiring ongoing management and treatment. It cannot be easily addressed by temporary behavioral changes. If you believe that you or your child may be dealing with ADHD, it's best to seek help from a specialist such as a psychiatrist or ADHD expert.